hello to everybody out there. This is Joe Self of Discover Joe Self and Practical Strengths. I am here interviewing our first person to jump in and be interviewed for the Future of Strengths virtual forum, which is taking place September 13th and 14th, which is taking place September 13th and 14th. My activator is not going to go back and change that because it has to be what it is. I just made a mistake. Maximizer says, maximizer be damned. So it's the 13th and 14th over here on the US, European, Western Hemisphere side. On the Eastern Hemisphere, it's the 14th and 15th. There are times and sessions for everyone to enjoy no matter where you are in the world. So I hope you will be joining us. There is still time to purchase your ticket. Sales will end by August 31st though. So got about a half a month left to get in there and do this. And so today I'm super excited to talk to Barb Bengtson from Minnesota. She is going to be joining us. And Barb, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, where you are, and then we'll kind of jump into the format. We got 3 good questions for you.
Well, I am a consulting psychologist. I have a business here, Perception Coaching, and we're a family business. And we work primarily with coaching for performance. So we do executives, teams. We also help people develop their own internal coaching programs because I'm also the creator of the Perception Coaching approach to coaching, which is more of a cognitive psychology based approach to how we learn and apply our preferences.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And so we're going to start. First, I want to get to know you a little bit. So my first question for you is, of your top 10 talents, and I know we can only see your top 5 up here on the screen, but of your top 10 talents, which one is your favorite and why?
Well, I'm not picking a favorite. I am picking a driver. My driver is restorative.
Oh,
So, and that is my number 2, but number
okay.
1 is my learner. And you can't solve a problem without learning stuff, is my approach. I do lead with strategic thinking and then executing. So I'm all about the ideas. So my restorative is if there is not a problem in front of me, I have nothing to do. That whole thing about having maintenance and things that you're supposed to do every day to keep things, that that loses my interest immediately. I need a problem to solve. I want those big, complex, messy, ill-defined problems, and then I can put my learner to work, my strategic to work, my achiever to work, all those good things. And of course, self-assurance, which maybe is why we're the first conversation.
I think you were the first to jump in too for volunteering to facilitate as well. So I love that. I love that. It got the ball rolling. All right, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit with that one because I find restorative to be a really interesting talent that sometimes gets a little shade, is not always as appreciated as it should be for what it can do. But I want to think about, like, what is one of your favorite types of problems or one of your favorite problems that you have solved, or the types of problems you like to solve? Are you drawn to a specific type of challenge?
I don't know that it's a particular type, but I will tell you how it has kind of blinded me in the past and then led me, once I started looking at strengths, led to a little enlightenment, if you will. But as a teacher, I'm a retired teacher. As a teacher, I went into my education learning about, how do we motivate these guys to do what they need to do? I always had gifted and talented students, and to get them, to do their homework and to do all the things that they have to do to get, to be graded well. That was my thing. So my master's work was in engagement and motivation.
Okay.
And then I had really motivated students, but they still were not always turning in work or doing what I needed them to do, performance wise. So then
Right.
I ended up with a PhD in cognition and learning. And one of the things I focused on was problem solving. You know what? If everybody could problem solve, everybody could do anything. That was my approach because I'm, like I said, restorative. And it wasn't until I started looking at strengths to go, and that is the area of my PhD, is how do people learn, that cognitive development. And then I focused on, expertise, problem solving. And it was like, oh, I'm trying to teach people who have different perspectives how to problem solve because I'm so blinded by the power it gives me.
Right.
So that was a problem I had to solve, is that, oh yeah, I'm dedicating my work to this, and this is not necessarily transferable to the degree I'm trying to make it work.
No, but I really appreciate that. It actually, one reminds me of a teacher I've been working with in Mexico who, whenever her students asks her how to solve something or how to do something, she says, resuélvelo tú. Figure it out yourself. You solve it. I'm not going to figure it out for you. You figure it out. And I love it because we had to talk about that. And I've really started adopting a lot more of that with my son. I've never been the mom to like step in and do things for him, but I have now explained why I'm not doing things for him, which is if you want to build up your resilience and self confidence, you need to know how to do this for yourself. Like, I don't mind helping if you make a really good effort and you're still struggling. I will step in and help, but you got to start somewhere and you got to pretend I'm not here. What would you do if I wasn't here? So I love that perspective. Thank you. And well, and I think that's a good segue. So talk to us a little bit more about the session you're going to be offering us at the forum.
Well, what we're talking about, adopting productive attitudes, and this is for coaches, are this session, it's to help with leaders who need to adopt, productive attitudes, because our attitudes show up everywhere in everything that we do. And they're not necessarily like those beliefs or, feeling, but they're very feeling motivated. They're My attitude is, I love school. I don't like math. Might be an attitude. I, on the other hand, love math, so I could never understand that and always said, no, math is great.
So he's great at math. I do not like it.
But looking at the I don't like math, and saying, oh, how many opportunities has my not liking math like just made me avoid?
Right.
Because I said, oh, that has math and I'm not going to do it, or whatever, so whatever your attitudes are, they limit you. So being able to say, and it might be regarding people, I live in Minnesota, and across the bridge we have Wisconsin, who generally has different rules than us. When I turned 18, I could drink in Wisconsin and couldn't drink in Minnesota. So
Right.
growing up, I had the attitude that, Wisconsin is kind of a lawless wasteland.
No
And
offense to
then,
our friends in Wisconsin out there.
no offense, because when you think about it, those are the things that they're all reinforced by your experience, by strong feelings, those things. But there's their opinions that aren't, they're getting some of that reinforcement that is not authentic, because we're throwing out the evidence to the contrary. So being aware of our attitudes helps us manage them. And that is what we're going to talk about. So we're going to recognize the impact that attitudes have. We're going to hypothesize interactions between strengths and attitudes. We're going to identify a productive attitude. And just to give you a sneak peek, one of them is, and this is the one that gets the most pushback, everyone is doing their best. That's a productive attitude. Okay. And then the last thing, because this is a coaching session, we're going to
Sure.
discuss clients' potential pushback in attitude shifting,
Oh, I love
because
that.
a lot of us say, yeah, but that's my strength. Why do you want to temper it? Or this is how I
Well,
feel.
there
This
is
is my
overuse
authentic
patterns, right?
self.
There's
Yeah.
overuse. So we definitely
Yep.
need to temper some of those things. That's interesting because I talk a lot about um, can you change someone? And there's a video that's been going around lately that says if you can't, it's a teacher trying to talk to her kids about saying kind things, right? And it says if they can't change it in 30 seconds, it's probably not worth commenting on. right? If it's like, oh, hey, your shoe's untied. Oh, hey, this is done. But if you're like, why is your hair that texture? Or why is it like there's certain things that you're just you can't change them. So why be unkind about it, kind of thing. And in my own personal relationships, I've talked about, accepting still annoying, but I'm going to accept that about you because I still find it annoying, which I will talk about probably in my keynote as well, but I talk about it like over and under with toilet paper. I am never ever going to be okay with under with toilet paper, but I no longer walk into people's houses and change it for them. I've managed that behavior. Still annoying, but I've learned to accept it. Right. So I think there's a little bit about that. And I love what you said about the biggest pushback is everyone is doing their best. And I do try to believe that everyone is doing their best in that moment with what they have and where they are.
Well, and that's the point
Right.
of the productive attitudes, because instead of going, why are they even doing that? You're saying, oh, I wonder what they are accomplishing by doing it that way. I wonder what they need to learn. I wonder what resources they need. All of a sudden, we're replacing that judgment with curiosity. And that's the power of a productive attitude.
Right. And I love this because I mean, I know you're talking to coaches and trying to help them manage clients and that, but I see this is going to be really effective for educators as well, right? Who are looking at managing their students or potentially other faculty, boards, when you have to manage boards. I think this is probably, information that a lot of people are going to be able to benefit from, not just coaches, especially when we start looking as leaders as coaches, right? That this is probably something that's really going to be helpful for them. So that's fantastic. Thank you, Barb. I'm super excited about this. I'm going to be sneaking in. I'm not going to be able to listen to most of the facilitators, which is so sad because I'm so excited about all of the topics we have, but I will be popping in here and there to get a listen. And thank goodness we have recordings, right? Like I get to
Right
actually
to
listen
say,
after
when
the
you're
fact.
gathering them all, I'm guessing you have some excitement. Several. So yes,
Yeah,
that is
I
going to be a
do. I'm
challenge.
really excited. I'm very excited for the lineup. I think we have some lovely topics that I'm excited to explore. I'm excited to hear from different perspectives, different ideas, different um, approaches, that people are using. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. All right. So now for our last question, which is a fun question, but I'm not going to pick one for you. You're going to have to pick a number 1 to 24, and then I'm going to give you the question.
My affinity to math, I like 17. It's a nice prime number. It's happens to be my birthday, but it's a great number, 17.
Okay. So would you rather live your life over as the opposite gender or start your life over as a kid?
I do not know. I will preface my response with empathy is number 34 for me. So walking in somebody else's shoes is not something to do because of the complexity of it. And I know my childhood was rife with angst. So I don't know that I'd want to do that again. But that's the whole thing is, am I going in with new, not, do I know what I know now? Because that would change it. I'd like to do
Yeah.
a lot of things over again as we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I can
And
appreciate that.
and I don't know, yeah, gender to me isn't, I don't tend to go with stereotypical gender roles, so it's not as relevant for me in that regard. So I'm going to give you kind of a non-answer in that I'm kind of happy with where I am and I know how I got here. So, but yes, if I could go back, I guess I might redo my child and then get
Yeah,
here
you could have a
faster.
little hindsight as 2020 if you could go back and live your life as a kid again. I think I'd like to live it just maybe to appreciate it more,
Oh
right?
yes.
Because there's so much about being a kid that you just want to grow up so fast and you don't really think about how fast it really goes, right? Everybody tells you it goes faster than you think, and it really does, but you don't know that when you're in it.
Yeah. Oh no, you're always looking. I can't wait till I'm in the double digits. I can't wait until I can drive. I can't wait until I.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Very
I think I'd
true.
probably go back as a kid again just so I could appreciate it a little bit more. Maybe even not with a lot more knowledge, but if I could just keep that one seed of just just appreciate it more. I think that's probably the one I would pick. So yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time with us today. We will be looking forward to your session, which is on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to put that up on our video so everyone has that. And really wish you the best of luck with everything you're doing right now. And thank you so much for being a part of this. For those of you who are out there watching this, if you're really interested in supporting Barb and what she's doing, please make sure that you use her link to register, because this is a co-op effort in how we earn and how we share. This is a big win for everyone. So please do your registrations, pick someone you really want to support and go for it and register with them. So thank you very much, and I will be seeing you soon.
Oh, thank you so much for all you're doing for us, Joe. We appreciate the opportunity and your generosity. Thank you so much.
Thank you.